Well, hello, my fellow dirtbags. If you watched my last episode, you'll remember that I was struggling with this guy. Last episode, I had managed to cut the top off, but then I ran out of cutting discs to do the bottom. So, next day, went and got new cutting discs. Got some much better cutting discs, actually, because the Harbor Freight ones that I got sucked. Who's surprised? Not me. So, let's check it out. So, if you guys remember the last video, I wanted to show you guys. I tried drilling out all these spot welds. The problem that I ran into was that all the spot welds, they were not like perfect little circles that could be easily drilled out. They were like squished and oblong, and they were just like, honestly, they were just messy spot welds. And so it wasn't like a quick, even, precise little thing that I could drill out. So it ended up just being way easier for me to cut this thing out. Kind of, I guess, cut my losses with it, literally. And I cut it at the top, cut it at the bottom, and then I'll show you guys here at the top what I got to do next. So the cut down at the bottom, not terrible. There was one spot that I got a little messy with it, a little sloppy. So I'm going to be taking a grinder to all of it just to clean it all up. And then same thing with the top. So if you remember that piece, I had cut and left technically the portion of the nose panel attached to this body right here. And then I went one by one with the little cutting disc from Harbor Freight and just kind of like in between the two, just slowly cutting out the spot welds. And that worked so much better. So honestly, if you have to do this, if you're able to get the spot welds out, drilling them out, props to you. I tried. I spent like an hour and a half, and I just don't have that kind of patience, to be honest. So I called it. I figured I'd just get a new panel anyways. So we're going to grind this out, do a quick little time lapse here, and then we'll start talking about the engine bay. All right, so I hit it with the grinder and my little Harbor Freight Dremel here, and got these edges smoothed out. Cleaned up all the little burrs left from the spot welds on the top section, and we're gonna good to go. I'm gonna hit that whole section with primer here. I kind of figured I'll probably paint that when I go to paint the engine bay. So next thing I got to do, so I started messing with the harness, and I reached a point of I'm not gonna do that. So by that I mean this harness here, I followed it. I've got it completely separated from the frame here, but it comes around like, hang on, it goes down through there and around the frame rail over here. So pretty much all this bunch that comes up on this side, I've got it pulled out. And my theory is I'm going to run this forward like this. Same deal with that. I've got to cut these fuel lines anyways because I got to get replacements. So I'm going to cut that. That'll be out of the way. Brake lines out of the way. And the only thing that I'm going to have to work around is going to be this harness. So I'm thinking I'm just going to tape that all together, mask it up well, and I'm going to spray around that. Reason being is the other side of this harness that goes into the fuse computer inside the fuse box, whatever you want to call it, there is about like 20 connectors, like all this size, all going in there. And it's something that I just feel like it's not worth it. It's really not worth it. The downside is I don't have this car with the whole harness pulled out, and then I'm figuring out the nightmare of rerouting everything over maybe not the best paint coverage in like this corner here. I'm willing to live with that. I'm going to have the master cylinder there with the brake booster and everything. It's going to, like, no, I'm sorry. I'm drawing the line there. So I need to cut this out. I will not be running power steering. Every project car that I've had has not had power steering at one point or another. And considering this car is definitely on the lighter side, I think I'll live. So let's get to cutting that guy. All right, well, I'm pretty happy with that. Honestly, I wasn't expecting it to get completely flush. It's really nice and smooth. Had a little slip up here with the grinder. I'm still beating myself up about that, but that'll be fine. Might even hit it with some filler. Next thing that I'm going to be tackling is going to be this firewall here. I'm going to try my hand at getting this residue off. So this stuff looks like rust, but it's actually just the adhesive that was holding the padding that I pulled off. So if you guys have any suggestions on pulling that stuff off, I'm going to try with this stuff. I'm going to try with acetone, maybe a sponge. I don't know. We'll see what works. But thanks for watching.